45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattoondpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, to sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the Ultimate Underground Metal Tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out.
In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh, this is the Metal Forge. 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 Metal Forge. My furnace starts to glow with crimson coal.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Thank you for tuning in to Flamekeeper Podcast Network. As you might have noticed, there is a little bit of a rebranding on the Facebook page because we've been part of Flamekeeper for a little over a year now, and I'm really starting to want to push that more. We've got awesome fucking content out there, like Ossont and Battery and Metal on a Budget and the Ale Horn. And it's so fucking cool, along with the Metal Forge, that we have these awesome fucking shows where, you know, you get to hear fan perspective interviews, you get to see budget gear review, you get to see insider review stuff of like record labels and stuff like that on the Ale Horn, and movie stuff included. And hopefully we're adding a few other shows to the network here soon. As I said, I wanted to do a wrestling show as well, and I know there's a fuck ton of them already. There's a ton of fucking shows of every type out there, and you know, I just want to say to you all, thank you all so fucking much for tuning in where you do and when you do, even if it's 2 or 3 weeks in after a show comes out. Those likes and listens and shit and views still mean the fucking world to me and Jason, Aaron, and Daniel, Justin, Daniel, White, you know. Fucking awesome fucking shit. And today, you know, here in the Metal Forge, we've got Iron Brigade from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They started in 2018 and are fucking straight up fucking power metal. Like, just, you know, there's some pretty cool shit. So, back in 2020, they released Chain of Command, and then in 2021, Winds of War. There's a few differences. One is the demo, and one is the actual, you know, full recorded EP. We get into that in the interview. But, you know, super fucking cool stuff. And, you know, I've always prided this show on that when I was working at WCHQ, and thankfully they gave me the gig when they did, because I really needed something else in my fucking life, right? And so when they gave me the gig, and I was bound to the quote local scene, which was all of Kentucky and about 50 miles into southern Indiana. You know, and I was cool with that, but once that shifted, I got to the point where I wanted to sit there and say, okay, now I'm not bound by this local scene anymore. And then it was just like, holy shit, there are so many fucking amazing bands out there. And so many of these amazing bands need to be heard and need to be seen and need to be, listened to, because we all have something to say, yes. And I'm not discrediting anybody who I've loved in the past and still continue to love to this day. Like the fucking, you know, the bands like the Metallicas and the Megadeths and the fucking, who the fuck ever you want to say, you know, Maiden and Kiss and shit like that. But I do think there is a time and a point and a place where, you know, you either need to... Randy Newman has a fucking perfect song for this. It's called I'm Dead and I Don't Know It. I'm not going to play it here, and I think I've said something about this a couple of years ago as well, and I'm kind of in that kick again. So the whole reason of this is, like, there are so many fucking awesome scenes up there, and with the way, you know, you're listening to me from wherever you are, and I'm here in the Louisville, Kentucky area, it's just so fucking rad, and I appreciate so many different places. And, you know, like the Nashville scene is fucking awesome. The Asheville scene is awesome. The fucking Pennsylvania metal scene is fucking rad. The Portland fucking metal scene is rad. Fucking Northern California, Southern California, Texas. There's so many fucking, and that's just in the States. Well, let's not even talk about fucking Canada and fucking South America and fucking Europe and fucking Australia and shit. Jesus, so many fucking awesome bands. But, you know, I'm gonna fucking go ahead here and play some fucking Iron Brigade for you all. This is off of the Winds of War EP, and they are, we're gonna talk about some new album stuff and everything, and new EP stuff in the interview, because it was recorded back a while back. But I'm glad they're fucking finally here. It's awesome. I'm excited. We're gonna fucking do this. This is Driven to Kill. right, metalheads, I am being joined here live and in person from Iron Brigade from the Pittsburgh area and the fucking Pittsburgh area. Let's talk about that for a second before we introduce you guys, because I always do this, always bring up something else first, like the weather. How's the weather? But by the time this airs, it'll probably be fucking still freezing, but not as bad. But anyway, no, like Pittsburgh and, Pennsylvania as a fucking whole has some amazing fucking bands out of there. Like Pittsburgh in particular has a fucking great set of bands. And holy shit, dude, like you all are in just the right place being a power metal band up there, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the right place too, especially with the group of bands that are here. And it's amazing that Pittsburgh or the area would have the same genre of bands or bands around the same idea.
Sure. Yeah, and it's like you might get that whole scene thing. Like you might get a band from this city that's doing something that's similar to a band in this city doing something, but to actually have a cool kick-ass power metal scene that is its own thing, and it's interchangeable, I almost think, with like a lot of the Cleveland bands. Yeah. Fuck yeah. So, as I said, Iron Brigade is here. Why don't we go around the video and introduce ourselves? And for the audio listeners, I'm sorry. You'll have to go by the voices, because there's 4 of us here.
We're actually missing one guy. He actually lives in Pittsburgh. He's our guitar player. His name's Alex. He is one of our guitar players, actually. And he doesn't drive, so...
Ouch.
Yeah, he basically every Wednesday or every Tuesday catches the bus up to my house. We have band practice, and then he catches the bus back home Wednesday morning.
Wow, man. So
yeah, it's been like that for about 8 years now. Has it been 8 years?
Yeah, I think so.
So are you out in the country then? Is what you're saying?
So where we live, it's actually a place called Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A lot of it is country, right. A lot of farms and things like that around the place. But then on the other side, we have a city, which I live on the edge of the city. And it's really weird how the area is mixed and how it's all put together.
Yeah.
You guys live out in the country.
Yeah, we do.
What are they, like the Dells or some shit out there that are fucking like where it's like all the Amish community and everything?
That's where I live. I'm in the Amish community.
Oh, wow. See, where I grew up in Indiana, I lived in rural Indiana, and I lived near an Amish community there. And it's interesting, especially, when you're getting up and trying to get shopping done early in the morning on like a Saturday, and the parking lot to the JC building is full of horse and buggies and stuff like that.
It's like that here too. Like you'll go to like Walmart or Giant Eagle. There's a grocery store around here called Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
And you'll go there actually literally any day, and the whole parking lot's full of horse and buggy.
See, I think it's kind of cool sometimes, where it's like, man, where have we fucking got to with like all this technology shit? And then just be like, man, to go back to something like that would fucking be crippling to a lot of people, of course. But like, it would just be so fucking rad. But see, this is what the Metal Forge is, as I've said it before. We just derail all the fucking time, so I shouldn't have a derailed segment. So as I was trying to get to a minute ago, how about we go around the room and introduce each other?
I'm Lauren. I play the drums in the band.
I'm Dan. I'm the singer.
I'm Caden, one half of the guitar tech. Andrew, bass.
Hell yeah. Dudes, thank you all for coming into the Metal Forge this week. And holy shit, Iron Brigade started around 2018-ish. Here you are now. Almost 6 years later at this point, you have a couple of EPs out. You've got Chain of Command and Winds of War 2020 and 21.
So, wait a minute. Those 2 EPs, and this is what's so weird about this whole thing. So, and even on the Encyclopedia Metallium, it says this too. And the thing about it is, Chain of Command was this. It's the same album as Winds of War. What ended up happening was we made the album title and it never got out or anything, and I don't understand how it even got out.
Hey,
we changed it to Winds of War, and both it's the same thing, but we never released Chain of Command.
Interesting. After this interview posts, I'll have to make an edit point and send them the link so they'll take it down and actually correct it. Which that's kind of cool. That's almost like a revenge versus Return of the Jedi kind of thing,
Right. Does it still say that on the Metallium?
Yeah, that's
right
where
now?
I was reading all of that from.
That he actually talked to the guy from Metallium, and he was supposed to change that.
Nice. Well, I mean, with like the 10 million or so bands or however many that are listed on that website, I can only imagine. I mean, you can do some stuff on there without as much editing as, that doesn't need an actual approval of something, Yeah, but I mean, because that's how I do it. That's how I've edited shit on there. I've put my band pictures and shit in there before. So it's pretty cool. It's a nice deal, but it's good to know that, that's actually a misprint on their part, because it was something that was going to happen, but then 2 minutes to midnight changed, and then the other version got out. Hell yeah. So already creating your own fucking mythos. Look at that. Fucking in the days of lore, Iron Brigade, set to Chain of Command and Winds of War. I don't fucking know. It just works. See? Your power metal.
Always and forever in the book of heavy metal.
Exactly. And as I said before in an episode, it's all heavy metal is guesswork with cut off black sleeves and some tattoos and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but what are your all's plans? 6 years now coming on. Are you planning a full length, or are you doing another EP? What's up?
So we're actually in the process of doing a full length. We're in the process of recording right now. The thing about the idea of all this is, so on that first album, we had a different guitar player and a different singer.
Okay.
Dan and Caden actually came into the band. Dan right here is actually Caden's dad.
Nice. Hell yeah, man.
So it was a package deal is how that worked out. And so we got them and we decided to start writing. Now it's a little different than before, because on the first album our singer was okay. He wasn't really that well with figuring certain things out. He ended up quitting. The guitar player ended up quitting. We didn't have anybody for a while. We got an offer for a festival, which is the Legions of Metal Festival in Chicago. And these guys stepped in and said, if you want us to do it, we'll do it. And we ended up doing it. We went to Chicago. We were there for 2 days, played the festival, came back. And I asked both of them, I said, do you want to be in the band as permanent members, or what do you guys want to do? And they both agreed to it, and that was June. No, when was that? Was it June?
Yeah.
June? Yeah, and here we are in January, and in the process of writing and recording a new album, and hopefully we get it out before the summer, which I would like to do, and get on some more festivals and, just get this thing out.
Hell yeah. That's rad, to be able to have something where you somebody, it's like looking for, holy shit, we're looking for somebody to fill this slot, and not only do you have just one person, but he's like, well, my son's a guitar player, or my dad sings, or however it happened, the package deal. And I think that's really cool, because I'm playing with a father-son band coming up soon as well, and it's an album release for them. So
okay,
and I wish I could have had that moment with so no, I wish I could have had that moment with like a relative of mine, but nobody else in my family really plays music. So and then me.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm the only one in my family that played an instrument too. So
nice. So and with it already being January and it's coming up, it's gonna be here before you know it. The summer is. And because it's already, by the time we're recording this, the end of January, almost February. But, so, I mean, do you have a goal in mind? Do you say, like, Memorial Day weekend? That's your deadline. That's when you want to have it done.
I think that we could have it done by Memorial Day weekend. I don't see why that would be an issue.
Yeah. I'm not holding you to that by any stretch. Don't get me wrong. Things happen, especially to bands.
We have 4 songs tracked out right now, so it's coming along pretty quickly.
Right on. Now, when you all do your writing process, how is that? Because obviously with you being a drummer and bass, obviously I know how that works because you do the rhythm section. But are you writing? Do you play other instruments? Do you play guitar? Do you all kind of write riffs? How does it work?
So I can only play drums. I can't play guitar.
Right.
I don't think anybody would want me to play guitar in their band because I would be the worst guitar player that ever existed.
Oh, come on, man! It can't be that bad.
It would be bad.
I've seen some pretty rotten fucking drummer guitar players.
I wish I was like that. So basically the whole writing process, it used to be that Alex, he would write everything. And there are some stuff that's already written, but we've changed some of it too. At this point, so him and Caden have been Zoom calling each other and throwing ideas back and forth with each other to write. So it basically starts with the guitars first, and then, Andy gets in there, and then I add the drums, and then we give everything to Dan, and he goes ahead and listens to everything and gets a plan worked out and starts writing vocals to it. So it's like I said, I don't do any of the writing. Caden and Alex do at this point. So it's nice because he puts his input in and Alex has his input, and things are different than they were before. But the way that we sound now, I believe, is more mature. Okay. So that's it's for the better. It turned out for the better that way. It used to be one guy writing, but not anymore.
Definitely. So in turn, it's really come into a fruition of something like a real guitar-driven writing process of power metal.
Yes.
Almost harkens back to that original, like, new wave of British heavy metal stuff coming through, where, it was always like the twin guitar kind of thing. Whether you're not, you harmonized or not, you always had that big booming sound of guitar.
Yeah, and we have a lot of twin stuff. That's kind of like our thing. Every time we write a song, we're like, oh, you got to get that twin guitar in there.
No, and I agree. I think it's a great tool to have, and some people it works for. That's just like Zakk Wylde always had said when everybody came up and he decided to play pentatonic scale stuff like Angus and Tony Iommi because nobody else was playing that in that day. So he stood out from it. And obviously, because he played like Tony and looked like Randy, and Ozzy fell in love.
Absolutely.
And it skyrocketed that. So I totally get that. But so it's like going back to something in the toolbox that really isn't done. It's done a lot, but I think it's a lot of it's synthetically done today, especially in the home recording era of things.
Yeah, I would say so. And like you said, like hearkening back to bands, especially of the new wave of British heavy metal, But even the bands before that, like Thin Lizzy, if you listen to Thin Lizzy, they have a lot of twin guitar in there. And then, of course, the next step after that was Iron Maiden with their twin guitar and stuff like that. Priest had some twin guitar. A lot of bands like that. Tigers of Pantang had twin guitar.
Sure.
So a lot of those guys, the pioneers.
For sure. And that's one of the things. It's like, I've always liked to ask the question to people. It's like when you get the division line, and I think Priest actually had posted something here recently about it. If you could choose 70s, 80s, and Painkiller, 90s, and like Rob with Fight era or Reunion era, what would you choose from Priest?
What would I choose?
Yeah, what would you all choose?
I think that with my thing is I like classic Priest. I love Painkiller, don't get me wrong. That era, even the newer stuff is good, but classic mid to late 70s, early 80s Priest is my thing.
Sure.
Those were some slamming albums. A lot of people listen to them and they're like, oh, well, look what they did on Painkiller. But it's that classic guitar tone, the sound, the attitude of things back then, because nobody knew what they were doing back then. They were just creating their own sound of themselves. And,
right.
it steamrollered from there and turned into obviously Painkiller and the albums after that. But, the original albums, it was all DIY with what you were going to write and record.
Sure.
I'd go with Screaming for Vengeance any day. I mean, I do love Painkiller. I thought that Priest totally reinvented themselves with that album.
Sure.
They did something that hadn't been done before. But Screaming for Vengeance, I got it on vinyl.
Sure.
I just
So yeah, you'd totally pick the 80s as well. Yeah. I dig. Right?
I would agree with that because Screaming for Vengeance is like my favorite Priest album.
Yep, I get you.
So I would probably go. I'm the odd man out. I would probably go with like the Painkiller era. I like my thrashy stuff.
Like 90s and stuff. Yeah, when they're really heavy.
And as far as new albums go, let me just throw this out there that I think Redeemer of Souls is a freaking amazing Priest album. It doesn't get enough love. So.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Redeemer doesn't get enough love, and I think Firepower doesn't get enough love either.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Firepower is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the combining.
Yeah.
Old and
new.
Yeah. I think Redeemer of Souls just gets a bad rap. People tend to get down on the production on that.
Right.
But I kind of like the raw sound of the guitars.
Yeah, I like it. I think that album's great.
Yeah.
And for me personally, it's between two albums that were already mentioned. I liked Screaming for Vengeance a lot.
Right.
That, and then there's also Painkiller. It's between those two, but then sometimes there's always Hellbent for Leather that's also in the mix for me too.
I agree.
So it's like one of those three.
And for me, I think when they posed the question, they had posed it by like era for them, and because like Painkiller was on the end of their real heavy 80s era, because it was like 91 or some shit, that like they sandwiched it in there. But if they could have fucking like kept Hellbent for Leather or Killing Machine as it's known in the rest of the fucking world, if they could have kept that and all the way to Painkiller and that been their career, all of those albums from fucking like Ram It Down, fucking, of course, fucking British Steel, Defenders of the Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, those like however many, like 8 or whatever albums, 9 albums, bam. That would have been an amazing storybook ending career if they didn't have anything on either side of it. And then all the extra content is what I'm saying. Like Rock and Roll is still fucking a great album. Sin After Sin is a great album. Sad Wings is great. Fucking Point of Entry, Fucking I like a lot of the fucking like the out of the like Stained Class, Out of the fucking Ordinary Priest, it's good shit. But anyways, that's not why we're here. We're here talking about you guys. Fucking so what do you all have coming up show wise?
We actually have no shows right now. The reason why is because we want to get the recording done. So we have nothing at this moment.
Okay.
But well, the last couple of months, we've played some shows with some Pittsburgh bands.
Yeah.
And we went on a mini tour, too.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, yeah. In November, we went on a mini tour. My buddy from up in the Boston area, Massachusetts, his name's Dwayne. He actually has a band called Mourn the Light.
I am definitely familiar with Dwayne. He kicks ass.
What's that?
I am definitely familiar with Dwayne. He kicks ass, and a shout out to him.
Yeah, there you go. So we went out with them.
Yeah, Mourn the Light.
And it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of deal. Pittsburgh, at a place called the Shred Shed in downtown Pittsburgh. We played at the Maple Grove in Cleveland, and then Sunday night we played. What was the name of the place Sunday night?
The Kingsland.
The Kingsland in Brooklyn, New York. So, but that was the 3-day weekend was a pretty awesome weekend. We had a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, and and I do want to give a big shout out to Dwayne because he does kick ass. Because here recently, and we're actually playing the same day with Mourn the Light at Legions of Metal this year with Ice Howl. We were just on the we were just on the 4-way split with Mourn the Light, and it's so fucking awesome. Such a great opportunity. And then to be on Legions this year, so fucking fun. I'm excited for it, coming out in May. And hell yeah, I'm so fucking excited for that shit. And he knows like fucking everybody, I think.
Yeah. So you guys are playing Legions this year, and then we played last year. Have you ever been to Reggie's before?
I have not, actually. I have friends that go there all the time. I have friends that work there, but I've actually never been. I'm thinking about going up there before that show because there is a certain band from Chicago that I want to go see that just announced a pop-up show, and I think I'm going to go for it.
It's a really, really nice place. There's 2 stages there, obviously.
Yeah.
The main stage and the joint stage, and we had a blast when we were up there. It was fun. And then Bob Byrne, who puts it all on, is an amazing dude. I made friends with him, and I still talk to him. I just talked to him yesterday.
Oh, same. So, I talk to him all the time, being like, hey, dude, what's going on? When are we going to do a commercial? Come on, let me know. We got to get it done. Show's coming.
Yep. Yeah,
and
Bob's
it is.
The man.
6 years in, it's such a great fucking deal. And, the whole Midwest is getting some really cool fucking little indie festivals and shit going on, like Heavy Hell at Black Circle, and then there's Legions, and then there's Blades of Steel up in Madison/Milwaukee area, wherever Randy decides to do it that year. So
Randy's festival.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. Totally cool shit. I'm excited, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon doing some shows and fucking making some more fucking heads roll, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what it's fucking about. I mean, axes in the fucking logo. Fucking, yeah. So, I want to go ahead and switch to the Derailed segment where we're going to talk just some random questions about you all as people.
Okay.
Cool. Do you feel that Area 51 has alien spacecraft?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So,
and there's whistleblowers that came out and said that they do.
Yeah.
So and then just recently, the government with their bullshit of not saying that aliens exist, and then all of a sudden they're going out and they're revealing that they have all these videos of these ships that they have no idea what they are, and this and that and the other thing. And just tell us, just tell us that Area 51 is where all these aliens and these ships and all this other crap is.
It's Hangar 18, man.
Yeah, Hangar 18.
Right. So you all believe that too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is, but then again, on the conspiracy front, it's like, is it Is it really a thing, or is it just like, or would too many people already know, and it just be like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that the reason why they didn't want to let it out or say anything about that with the aliens and technology and things like that it's a religious thing. Because if they come out and say something like that, then all the people that are very religious or anything like that are going to freak out. And I think that they don't want people like that to freak out. But then again, the Catholic Church, they asked them, you know, if aliens exist or do you believe in them? And they said, yeah. And he said, God created all creatures.
Right. Yeah, there is always that. Me looking at my King Diamond tattoo really fast.
There you go.
What is the one invention that you wish was never invented?
There's so many.
I think most people would say the internet.
I was just going to say that I would say the internet, cell phones, Facebook.
Yeah.
It's ruined it. It's really ruined it. I think the internet streaming, yeah. Part of the thing with the internet is, you know, everything's so accessible to everybody, and nobody wants to call each other on the phone anymore and talk about anything. They just want to go on the internet
and punch keys.
Blow up Facebook posts and talk a bunch of shit behind a keyboard, and it's just crazy.
Bring back CD players in cars too, damn it.
There you go.
Bring back cassette players in cars, damn it.
All that. Bring it all back.
All my friends here.
He has a Bluetooth CD player in his car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Dude, like, here's the thing with that is, like, I totally agree. And when I saw it change was when I was probably about 13 or 14 years old, and a friend of mine brought over a CD with his band's recording on it for the first time. I saw it and I was like, dude, how did you get it on CD? He's like, my cousin has a computer that makes them.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's fucking awesome. It's like, can you imagine we could do that at home now? Now we don't have to go to fucking like these big ass companies like disc makers that charge fucking $4 a piece. You know, for fucking,
I remember a long time ago when I was in a band, and we actually bought our own bootleg CD for $30 a piece.
Oh my God.
It from overseas. On CD.
That's insane. So
that's amazing.
A friend of mine and I, we did this crazy fucking thing where back in the day when AOL would mail you the fucking sampler disc, we would just take out the sampler disc just so we could have the fucking plastic case it came in. We would throw the CDs out the fucking car window and shit like that.
Keep the case.
It was a different time. People don't fucking crucify me for doing that now. I pick up trash today because of that. No, for real. Like, but yeah, we would just fucking, like, whenever they would have like a kiosk sitting outside like a fucking store, we used to take the whole fucking thing and throw it in the back of his fucking car so we could have the fucking cases so we could burn our own CDs and just have free cases to fucking throw it out in.
I remember stuff like that, man. And I remember, like you said, with the CD thing and seeing somebody that had a burned CD with stuff on it. And you know, it's the same thing with people recording and putting their stuff on a CD and passing it out to people. You know, I thought it was cool whenever they had a tape, but CD was new to everyone then. And I'm like, how did you do that? And it was the same thing. They're like, oh, we burn it on our computer. And I was like, I gotta do that. I gotta get a CD player. And I remember I paid like $400 for a burner at the time.
Oh, ouch. One of the interesting things is I had an 88 Dodge Dakota truck with a factory CD player, and the tech was so old in the CD player that it would not play burnt discs a decade later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
And now here we are fucking 25 years or so later on a fucking little device that's fucking in my pocket and fucking has more computing technology that put fucking astronauts on the moon.
Yeah. and yeah. And then they say they can't put people on the moon again because they don't have that technology anymore and they can't figure it out.
Right. It's a little bit too much too fast. So do you all agree on that? What else? I mean, clearly there's got to be somebody else that wants something different that didn't exist.
Oh, do we want something like an invention that we wish
that did? Yeah, like what invention is out there that you wish didn't exist?
Didn't exist.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Outside of the internet.
Yeah, outside of the internet. Because I think that among metalheads, I think that's a popular consensus.
It is because
we missed the tape trade. That's it.
I got something.
Sure.
I got something that I wish did not exist, and even though it exists now, I wish it would go away. That's auto-tune. I hate auto-tune.
Yeah,
I get that.
Cheaters.
I mean, I get that, and
no auto-tune.
I think if my personal feelings is if it's used as a tool to help and instruct to say, okay, here's where you're at, this is where you need to be. I get that, okay? Like, and then it's like a coaching mechanism to show how, like, getting to the step to where it matches. Using it as a crutch, however, is where the problem, I think, is. And
yeah, it creates a lot of phonies.
Exactly. But I think too that in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I'm sure there's bands on an independent level that are doing it too. And because what's the fucking the assholes fucking band that canceled the show because the laptop fucking got stolen? Fucking Ronnie Radke's fucking band, Falling in Reverse. Yeah, those dudes. Yeah,
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, apparently they canceled the show because the laptop got stolen or didn't boot up or some shit, so they canceled it. It was a festival show too. But anyway,
are you serious?
Yep, that actually happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's all fucked up, and then now he's picking a fight with somebody else or some shit, and by the time this airs, that's probably all old fucking news. But anyway, no, but and I know there's bands on the independent level that do that, but I think ultimately, the sampling of drum triggers, during a live performance, I think is the same thing. When you're blending a triggered sound and a live kit, in an arena versus, that, because there's a lot of bands that do that. All of your touring bands are doing those. So I think it's the same as auto-tune.
Even Metallica's doing it at this point.
Oh yeah.
But on the other hand, so my whole thing about triggers is triggers on the kick drum is fine. But if you're triggering the entire kit, that's bullshit.
I get you.
Yeah, I just think like even with backing tracks in general, if they're there, if there's an instrument that's not in your band that's being played, maybe a little bit of that. But I mean, if all the vocals are in there, all the instruments are in there, what's the point of even showing up and playing?
Exactly.
I mean, at this point, you're just doing a mime show.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, Kiss has been doing for about the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just pointless, in my opinion. I don't want to pay for that, and I wouldn't want to be I couldn't go out and do that. Couldn't go out and be a total phony.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know they're getting paid millions of dollars to do it, but they should already, they're tarnishing their legacy. I mean, if you can't sing anymore, maybe you should just hang it up. There's plenty of that.
Well, and that's one of the big arguing points that I've had on the show for a while. Like, I think there's bands out there that possibly hurt mid-level bands bands that could be filling places like mid-seat halls, like a 2,500 seat venue, if they had the availability and the backing to get to that point. But there's bands that charge $400 and $500 a ticket. There's bands that charge, and I know that it's because of the show, and I understand all of the moving parts. But it's just like, okay, well, maybe it's like almost like a sunk cost fallacy at some point. It's like if you're going to have to, if your show is so big that you have to charge astronomical fees to produce, then, and when inflation happens and those fees get even bigger, is it worth it anymore? That's the whole thing. And I think bands like Kiss and Metallica, and I hate to even say it, but like Alice Cooper, you know, because there's even been rumor that Cooper sings to a track now.
Yeah, I heard that.
And
Wasp is another one.
Oh, he said Wasp is another one too.
I could believe that. And I mean, but I mean, it's like at some point, you know, we all know that, like how the Super Bowl halftime show is. It's all lip sync anyways. It's the reason why fucking Chili Peppers were doing dumb shit up there. They didn't have strings on the instruments or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, because it was all fucking bullshit. And I get that, but like there has to, that's a special occasion, but that's not your whole fucking tour. I mean, that's where I have the issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because that then costs bands that are on these indie fests, that like Legions of Metal, there's a fuckload of those bands who could be fucking playing places that are fucking like, you know, 1,000 seat places, 1,500, 2,500 seat places, your little fucking theaters in fucking town and shit. We have one here, it's called the Palace Theater. Unfortunately, it's a Live Nation venue. But the same thing, you know, the same thing applies. But I think that is where it is for me at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel the same. I agree on that.
Hell yeah. If you were to send a message in a bottle in the ocean, what would you put on it?
Oh, you're Send good help. At that. Send help. What would you say?
What would I say? If I were to send a message out in a bottle?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Please recycle me.
He said, please recycle me.
Oh, that's awesome though. I mean, hey. Could you imagine being the last desolate fucking thing in a fucking war-stricken fucking nuclear winter world? Is this one fucking bottle going clinking up against some fucking rock, and some fucking weird fucking mutated fucking cockroach fucking humanoid fucking picks it up and sees please recycle me? It's like a fucking it's like a fucking Pixar film.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh my gosh. Fuck yeah. Who was the last person you stalked on social media?
The last person I stalked, Randy Kastner.
Yes. What about you guys? Come on.
That's why we're not on Blaze of Steel.
Yeah, that's why we're not on Blaze of Steel, because I stalked Randy.
Oh, come on. No. No, Randy's a good dude. He's got a lot.
Listen, so we play. Well, we didn't play, but I went to Metal Immortal, and Randy was there, and I got a picture with Randy. And before I even took the picture, you know how he is. He's like a grumpy old man. He was like, "I'm only taking the picture once," and I'm like, "All right." So I got a picture with him. I posted it online, and my guitar player was looking at it the other day, and he was like, "You know, you could pass off for Randy's son."
I can kind of see
I'm
it.
like, dude, you got to be kidding me. And then, did you ever look at the battles between Randy and Bob online where they're making fun of each other constantly?
Yeah.
Randy calls him Loser Bob all the time.
Yeah, he zinged me a few days back on there too. I posted, I resended something or reposted something, and it was over a festival, and Randy goes, "Hey Bob, I bet Mark's excited to play this." I'm like, "Come on, dude, what did I do? Of course I'm excited to play." Because I'm like, I'm a festival whore. I want to be on every fucking festival in everywhere.
Yeah.
Just because that's like, I'm fat and old now. And well, I've always been fat, but I'm just old now. And fucking, it's like, it's kind of life at this point.
Yep.
What about you guys? Come on. You all have been kind of quiet the whole night here.
They stalk Randy too.
Oh, I stalk Mo. He doesn't know, but I stalk him all the time.
I just don't stalk anyone.
No, that's cool.
I'll tell you what, I don't stalk people, but there are a few people that I keep an eye on to make sure they are very far well away from me. I wouldn't necessarily call it stalking, but yeah, there's a few people I make sure they are far away.
Understandable. I think stalking implies that you've got to go through fucking like secret accounts.
Yeah.
Like you have a burner account, like your fucking name is like, I don't know, Zach Child or some shit. and it's just to watch.
I used to have a burner account so I could spy on people. This was years ago.
Dude, a lot of people do that, and it's creepy. It's weird. Yeah. That's what I hate about social media is like, you know, I got a friend request from somebody. I was like, alternate account, and said, yeah, I had a fucking post on my story, and they fucking locked me out for 30 days or whatever. I'm like, and it was like, and it wasn't even lewd. It's like, oh god damn, fucking Facebook. Fucking Meta. And unfortunately, it's a fucking necessary evil at this point. Because, you know, if you've ever taken any time away from social media, like years, I took 5 years off of Facebook.
Wow.
And when I came back, it was a different fucking world, like completely. And this was before fucking pandemic times even. And what was crazy about it is like, you know, finding out people had no longer were no longer alive or whatever shit like that had happened. And it's like, fuck, man, how did I not hear about? Oh, I didn't have fucking Facebook, and nobody fucking puts anything in the newspaper anymore, and all that shit. It's fucking crazy. And now see, that's the old man here in me is fucking coming out.
I was just talking about that the other day because, you know, people, if they text you or they call you, they want you to immediately call them back or immediately text them back. And back in the day, you know, if I went to work, you couldn't get a hold of me. You left a message on my answering machine.
Yeah.
And when I came home, then I got back with you.
Yeah.
Now everything's immediate. It has to be done right now.
Absolutely. And that's so fucking strange and weird. And it even thinking about it, you know, even like I said, I remember being in elementary school and them talking about the internet then, and it being like such a new thing to a public level. And I'm talking like 94, 93, some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit. But I do have one more question. But before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So please give a like, a share, and a follow. Do you have any shout-outs you would like to give to anybody today?
Well, I'll give a shout-out to our boy Alex who couldn't make it. So, what's up, Alex?
Definitely.
I'll give a shout-out, to Alex, because he couldn't be here, so he's a loser. He doesn't have a car.
Oh.
Shout-outs to anybody.
Shout-out to Randy.
Wait, what?
Shout-out to Randy.
I'd like to give a shout out to my boy Randy. No, anyways, that's all in fun. I love Randy.
Sure.
You know, the one person that I would like to give a shout out because they gave us a chance and they helped us out with the whole mini tour that we did is Deb from Lady Beast. She really helped us with that tour. She got the venue for the Pittsburgh show, and she helped out Dwayne with a couple things. And she really stepped up. And she's a good person for the Pittsburgh metal scene. She does a lot around here, and I really appreciate her. So yeah, definitely Deb.
Definitely huge shout outs to Deb. She's been on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's been on the show before. Need to get her back on for a Reforged episode soon. And, with Metal Immortal being postponed this year, announced here a while back, hopefully next year will be even bigger and better and be more awesome, kick-ass shit. And
she promised me we'd be on it this year, and then it got canceled. And I was like, man, are you fucking kidding me?
Damn,
And then Stormbringer, they canceled Stormbringer, too.
Yeah. I get it, though. I mean, festival work is hard. It really is. I put on a festival last year. I'm going to do it again this year, but it is hard, especially when when you're looking at the calendar and you're like, okay, fuck, I'm 250 days away. I've got to get this booked. 250 days. And then you're also fighting with everybody's schedule of fucking, if you want headliners that live in fucking Brooklyn or anything, or you want fucking headliners that live in fucking, fucking like, I don't know, like Savannah or anything, and you got to meet their fucking schedules and everybody else's of 6 other fucking bands each night. Yes, it's fucked.
Yeah.
But it is a thrill.
Just tell me, and I'll show up. I'm good. We're all good like that. Just tell us.
That's
we'll
awesome.
Be there.
And honestly, I think this year I'm going to go about it. It's like it's always a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck yeah. So my final question of the day, unless you all have more shout outs you want to give, or anything else you want to promote.
Promote. Well, we could promote our old album, but most people have that right now. So
that's cool, though.
And the other thing too is people have been trying to buy stuff off of us, and something's wrong with our Bandcamp. And I've been trying to email them, and they don't get back with me. Every time somebody goes to purchase something, it says there's a problem with your order, and I have no idea what it is. So we'll figure that out. But promote the album.
Hopefully, that'll be resolved by the time.
What's that?
Hopefully by the time this posts, that'll be resolved. But if it isn't, if anybody's listening and it's still an issue, reach out. Because there's some fucking gurus out there for the Bandcamp shit. I definitely know in the indie metal scene that there's definitely some fucking people that have Bandcamp down to a fucking science.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so, fuck yeah. But I interrupted. Go ahead, continue.
No, I'm just saying that, the new album is going to be out. And like you said, I should set the goal to be Memorial Day. I think we could probably pull that off, right? Yeah, we do. Maybe not you, but the rest, no, I'm kidding.
Hell yeah.
So,
hopefully.
Get that out. That'll be fun. And then, hopefully that'll take off. We'll get some shows and play some festivals, and maybe Oliver will get us on Keep It True. And, it's only up from there.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Final question of the day is, what is the oddest job you ever took to make a buck?
So, the oddest job I ever took to make a buck.
And this isn't something that I can answer because I don't have a job.
Yeah, he doesn't have a job. Yeah. He's the youngest one in the band. He's 18.
Oh, shit.
He's still in high school.
Oh,
yeah,
God
he's still
damn.
in high school.
Damn.
My oddest job would be pulling weeds, like literally a whole entire strawberry field, weeds up to your knees.
Wow.
For hundreds of yards. Yeah, pulling weeds. That was the worst.
Fuck.
That's why I'm a very patient person.
Dude, you'd have to be for that. Fucking I dated this chick one time. Anecdote time. This might not actually make the cut of the audio episode, but it might make the video cut. So I dated this chick one time, and she ended up having some legal issues and had been sentenced to community service, and her job detail was pulling weeds at the Goodwill through the rocks. And I'm like, and I was told, and she told me about it. I was like, what? It's like, what the fuck kind of job is that? It's like, it's community service. And like, it was like at a fucking like severely like discounted wage. It was like well less than minimum wage because they still had to pay them something, even though it was hours counting. What's that?
I got $2 a row.
Oh my God, a row. It's a row's only 900 feet.
It took us all day. To do a row.
Oh my gosh.
Renegotiate.
Dude, that's one of the weirdest things I remember as a kid, where we went and picked fucking strawberries and shit at an orchard, and in the springtime and shit. That was always weird.
I think the oddest job that I ever had is I worked at a telemarketing company for a long time, and the whole time we thought that the place was legit. You know, we'd raise money for credit cards and Make-A-Wish Foundation and this and that and the other thing. And I worked there for a long time. I worked there for like 15 years. And then all of a sudden, one day I go into work. This is 2006. The doors are closed. There's nobody there. There's a note on the door that says, you know, we're not reopening. And I find out after I had been working there for all this time that it was not a legit company.
Dude, it's like, that's so fucking wild, because you know what happened to like all the fucking tax information, you know? They had to be, yeah. I mean, there's a wonder there's no fucking like crazy shit that way. Fuck.
And that place was like the Wild West too. When I worked there, there were people drinking at their desks. There were people going in back offices and screwing, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, I worked in a call center. I know how those places are. They're like fucking, MASH, honestly.
Yeah.
They're like fucking MASH. Oh, the management's insane. The fucking patients are running the fucking hospital. Fucking. Yep. Nobody gives a fuck, and everybody's drunk and trying to get in each other's fucking pants.
That's exactly how it was.
Exactly. Yeah, and the worst part of all was the fucking, it always seemed like the fucking, and I'm sorry if this was your job title, and I don't mean to profile you if it were, the trainer of the fucking new trainees. They were always the worst fucking seeming people when it came to like the groomer mentality of both the men and the women in those positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just
I remember our trainer was like that. I actually wasn't a trainer. I was on the phones for a while, and then I became a supervisor, and then I became the verification supervisor, which was the person that had to listen to all the calls to make sure everybody was doing their fucking shit right.
Oh, you're QA.
Yeah,
you got the great job where you had to fucking just listen and not have to fucking worry about anybody.
It was not even like I worked at all.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like, yeah, because you couldn't listen to literally every call. You take the sample rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the call center pulling weeds, 18. He's 18 and he likes it.
Wait, what?
My worst one was I worked in a windshield washer fluid factory.
Really?
It was dangerous as fuck. I almost died twice. I can't explain to you how awful this place was, dude. It was shitty. It was so bad.
Damn. Dude, I have so like, I know what you're talking about, because like, not only do you have like the manufacturer of it, but you've got like the bottling and shit there too. Yeah. So like, I have like this weird like phobia of like barrels stacked high. Like the 55-gallon barrels, right? Like the drums, whether they're the cans, the blue plastic ones, it's fucking creepy to me, and I'll explain why. Because of Phantasm. I'm a huge Phantasm fan, and when they go in and they're fucking in the fucking room and there's the barrel stacked against the wall and their little fucking people are in there, Woo! No, thank you, pal. And I used to have to go to a place to deliver parts there years ago, and it would always freak me the fuck out. And I'm just like, and they did like barrel washing and shit there. And it was just like, nope. And with the machines fucking rolling that whole time, nope.
Yeah.
That's a shit job.
Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, it was shit. It was shit.
What was the most dangerous thing?
I actually have a phobia of windshield washer fluid.
Well, there was two things. There was
no, I'm kidding.
We used to make like low temp windshield washer fluid, and they put shit tons of ethanol in it.
Yeah.
And nobody wore a mask, and they had no ventilation, and the whole crew would get sick.
Yep.
So that was one time, and all the machines would break down. So you'd be fixing the fucking conveyor belt. You might get your arm caught in a conveyor belt. That happened to me. I got an arm caught in a conveyor belt. Almost lost my fucking arm for like $5 an hour. I was like, fuck this place. I'm never doing this shit again.
Fuck.
I got out of there with both arms intact. Yeah.
Damn,
they wouldn't cut the belt. I got my arm caught in a belt, and they wouldn't cut the belt because it was the only one they had. So like they were cool with maybe letting me lose an arm because they didn't want this machine to go down because they wouldn't be able to produce more windshield washer fluid for the day.
I worked in a sand and gravel factory, and there was a flat rock that fell in between where the hopper is to dump the material in, and the rock. I was the plant operator. The rock cut the belt. The belt was like a mile long. It just sliced it right down the center. Oh, wow. My boss was all pissed off about this. He made us stay over. We got there at 5 a.m. He made us stay until almost 10 o'clock at night. He went and he bought these rivet that looked like staples, and you pull the belt together, and you drill 2 holes, and you stick it in, and you screw it in from underneath so it puts the belt back together.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It was you had to turn the belt, then stop, then put these things in, then turn the belt and stop. It was nuts. Same reason they only had 1 belt.
Fuck, man.
You got 2 arms, bro. They only got 1 belt. What do you
and I want to about what you were talking about with that is honestly, they're the kind of company that's okay with losing you've got 2 arms, they've got 1 belt, and they can put out production, but the amount of disability that would be paid out from any kind of settlement would be far less than the profits that they would make off of their ethanol water.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's like, I hate to get the conspiracy theory thing here like we talked about a minute ago, but it's like the Fight Club thing and the recall. A plus B plus C equals X, and if X is less than this, then we don't do a recall, right? Fucking same fucking principle.
Yeah.
Dudes, thank you all so fucking much. This has been a fucking blast. I have enjoyed this. Fucking rad times. Off of Winds of War. What do y'all want to play out today?
Wait, off of Winds of War? What do we want to play out?
Yeah, what do y'all want to play?
I would say Winds of War.
Yeah.
I was going to say German to Kill because you love that song.
No, definitely not that song. Winds of War, man.
Winds of War.
Fuck yeah, title track. This is Winds of War. Yeah.
Calling for all consent. We're sealing, prepare for the night. Please to
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance.
featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. to distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.